Hello, everyone. My name is Caroline. I'm from New Jersey, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about unlocking your public speaking superpower. And this is a virtual curriculum made in collaboration with Interns for Good, and this is really suitable for students ages 10 and up. But the lessons we talk about today are going to be transferable to whatever age you are because public speaking follows you throughout your entire life. So to summarize this presentation, we're going to be learning the basic elements of public speaking to enrich our communication abilities. And we're going to do this by growing our hand gesture vocabulary, so the hand movements we use when we're speaking. We're going to be learning facial expressions that will enhance your delivery. And we're going to learn how to manipulate pausing, pacing, and volume to become an effective and clear speaker. And let's go back to the title of this presentation, your public speaking superpower. The ability to speak confidently and clearly in public is going to follow you for the rest of your life. No matter how old or young you are always speaking in public. I'm using my public speaking skills today during this presentation. So learning the elements of public speaking is really vital to unlocking your superpower. And I'm really excited to help you guys unlock yours. So let's get started. What is public speaking? Public speaking is the act of speaking to an audience using your voice, your body, and your face. So a lot of people think that public speaking is just using your voice to tell a story. It's not, because when we speak publicly, we're standing straight, we're looking at our audience, we're using our hand gestures. There's so much more than just your voice, and that's what we're really going to talk about today. And let's talk about where we find public speaking and where we use our public speaking skills. So I really think of presidential debates, presidential candidates. They really need to learn how to speak publicly because they're giving speeches, they're participating in debates. I also think about the Academy Awards, Oscars acceptance speeches. That's a huge arena for public speaking. But we also public speak in the classroom, right? When you're giving a presentation, when you're reading a story out loud, when your teacher's giving a lesson, you're using your public speaking skills. And I want to emphasize that public speaking is what we call ubiquitous, which is a big word. Ubiquitous means that it's everywhere, like the air is ubiquitous. Likewise, we use public speaking everywhere we go. So that's why it's really important that we learn these skills. So I want you to take a second, pause this video, and think about where do you use your public speaking skills. So just pause, answer that question, and then resume whenever you're ready. Give you a second. And then I have another follow-up question. What do you think makes a good public speaker? Some of the things that I think about are the avoiding using phrases like and pausing for effect, speaking clearly at an appropriate volume, using hand gestures, making eye contact, and confidence too, being confident in your ability to share a message. That's huge. So pause this video if you have anything you want to also list that I didn't already say. Alrighty, so moving on. So when I think about what makes a good public speaker, I automatically think about what's on the screen, and we call that the public speaking pyramid. And you know, a pyramid, it's wider at the base and it narrows when you get to the top. So you need a strong foundation in mechanics, meaning your volume and your enunciation, which is how well you pronounce words and speak clearly. After that, you have pacing and pausing, which refers to your cadence or the rhythm of your speaking. Hand gestures, which is how you use your hands to emphasize what you're saying, and emotion. It's really boring when you're watching someone with no emotion. You're not connected to them. So it's important that you use facial expressions and hand gestures in your voice to make a more engaging delivery. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a little bit. So there are also two parts to public speaking. You have your verbal elements, the things you do with your voice, and you have your nonverbal elements, which are the things you do with your hands, your face, your body. Verbal elements include volume, pacing, pausing, and tone, whereas nonverbal elements include hand gestures, eye contact, posture, facial expressions, and anything you really don't do with your voice. And effective public speakers create a marriage between verbal and nonverbal to communicate effectively. And we're going to be learning how to do that today. But first, let's get into the specifics of the specific verbal and nonverbal elements. Volume refers to how loud or how soft you speak. So you don't want to be so soft that no one can understand you, but you don't want to be so loud that it's jarring. Good public speakers find a balance between the soft and the loud, and they change it up. Next, we have pacing, or how fast or how slow you speak. You don't want to speak too fast because then people can't understand you, but you don't want to speak too slow because that is really, really boring. Good speakers speak at a conversational pace, meaning it's the same pace you have a conversation with your mom like. Moving on to pausing, which is a brief stopping of speaking and for dramatic effect. So a good example of pausing is when you ask a question, what's your favorite food? My favorite food is chocolate. Having pauses gives your audience time to think, and they're really important to breaking up your speech. And we're going to look at an example of effective pausing in a little bit. Next is tone, or the motion you communicate using your voice. So I can pretend that I'm really, really excited by speaking really upbeat and really fast and really jumpy. But if I slow it down and I get more serious, I can tell you that I'm really, really sad. So we use verbal and nonverbal tools to communicate a tone or an emotion. You can be happy, you can be sad, you can be angry, you can be frustrated, you can be informative, inquisitive, curious. All those things you can communicate using your voice. Moving on to hand gestures, which is the use of your hands to emphasize your words. So there are a bunch of different hand gestures that we can use. If I'm listing something, I can use 1, 2, 3. My favorite fruits are apples, bananas, and strawberries. I can talk about how something's really, really big or really, really small. Or I can emphasize something by putting my hands up or down. Those are all hand gestures that you can use, and great public speakers look at their speech or figure out what they're saying beforehand, and they plan out the gestures that they're going to use. Moving on to eye contact, it is vital that you look at your audience, not the ceiling or the floor. Because let's pretend I'm going to give the rest of this presentation looking at the ceiling. Is that boring? This doesn't look great. It's not fun. I'm not engaged with my audience. So it's really important that you look at your audience because you make a connection. This is common sense. Moving on to facial expressions, which is the act of using your face muscles to communicate an emotion. So you could be really, really happy or really sad or angry or shocked. You use your face to communicate those emotions. So let's take a look at this 8-year-old boy who I think is so adorable, and he's giving a speech about the importance of recess. And I'm gonna ask that you guys keep a list of the public speaking elements that he uses and how he uses them effectively.
Once last year I got armor and a sword. I found a dog and played with him. I built a house and made a garden. Night came and monsters were everywhere. There was an evil lord that I started killing. Just as I was about to destroy him, time to line up. Hello, my name is Simon Link, and I'm talking about why kids should have an hour-long recess. Did you know that genes change when they get playtime? Out of 1,200 genes that scientists have studied, 1/3 of them have changed when they had a half-hour playtime. Since the 1800s, research shows that you learn better and faster when having playtime. Work that has breaks is more effective than work with long stretches.
Isn't he adorable? So I want you guys to take a second and think about what the speaker did well. And you can pause this video to figure that out. I'll give you a second. All right, seconds up. Some of the things I wrote down was that he spoke really clearly, and I could understand every single word that he said. He made eye contact with his audience, and he used facial expressions. He also used volumes and hand gestures to emphasize the importance of recess on jeans. That's a typo there, I apologize. And then he also used pace and hand gestures to emphasize the importance of a long recess. He also used a pause after he asked a question about the importance of recess to give you a second to think. And he was really fun to watch. I mean, I wasn't bored while watching him because he was so animated and exciting. And I hope that you guys strive to incorporate elements of public speaking to become as good as a speaker as that 8-year-old boy, because he was so adorable. All right, moving on. It's now your turn. You just won an Academy Award because you're the best actress or actor. Write your acceptance speech and deliver it using the skills we learned today. And I would love to see your finished videos, so if you're comfortable, please send them to carolinelids@gmail.com. I want to thank you guys for your time and your enthusiasm for public speaking, and I am looking forward to hearing what great things you guys do. Feel free to email me with any questions, and then LinkedIn. Oh, I just poked my eye. Wow, yikes. Linked at the back of this is a public speaking worksheet, which is a kind of match fill in the blank type thing about the content we learned today, as well as a curated playlist by TED, which are all speeches given and written by kids, which I would highly, highly recommend. I want to thank y'all for your time. This is a little bit about me. I'm Caroline. I'm 18. I am from New Jersey, and I'm also a competitive public speaker. So what I do, I go around the country. I've been to 17 states so far, and I give speeches. And when I'm not traveling to tournaments, I like hanging out with my 2 dogs, Charlie and Cooper, and listening to music. Again, if you have any questions about public speaking, feel free to contact me at carolinelids@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I can't wait to see what amazing speakers you become. Have a great day.